All right, we finished practice today. We're in shells. Was originally going to go full pads, but I switched it around a little bit. We're going to go full pads Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with a scrimmage on Saturday. Went shells today, then shorts the other 2 days. So got some more situational work in place. Got one more week of a lot of evaluation, a lot of install. And then I told the coaches after this week, we kind of got to pare down our install for sure. You know, we got to get ready for the first game, and then also try to get a somewhat of a tentative 2 deep if we can.
So, Rich, it is interesting about the transfer you have. Some are coming up from the Power 4 level, but a lot are moving up from lower levels. Obviously, you were just there. So how big a jump is this for those guys? Is it hard to handle, or do we make too big a deal out of that?
I mean, I think it's a little bit, but not as much as you would think, because most of those guys had games against Power 4 teams. You know, I know our guys at Jack State did, and if you're a good player, you're a good player. I think the hardest thing is like the Power 4 transfer guys were more expensive. I mean, they are. I mean, they're, and not, you know, some of it's justified, some of maybe not as much. But I mean, they were, you know, some of those, not everybody, not all of them were looking for a payday. But if you were playing a lot or starting in a Power 4 and you're looking to go to another Power 4, usually it was because you're trying to get paid more money. You know what I mean? And not for a bigger challenge. When you're moving up, if you want to call it that, from Group of 5 or 1AA to Power 4, it's probably a combination. You might obviously get more money because Group of 5 don't pay much, if anything. But it's also, you know, you want to move up in competition, the level of play. So I think that's a combination of it. And a lot of guys I think that we signed from Group of 5 schools or smaller schools, I think it was a combination of, you know, they wanted to be in the bigger stage. I think that was, hopefully that was the main reason. But also some of them, you know, got paid a little bit more too.
Do you see they're adjusting? I mean, do you see that they can play at this
Yeah,
level?
I don't. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, when we sit down and think about it, oh yeah, this guy from here. But when we're out there, I don't even think, oh, this guy came from a small school, whatever. I did. So they're. I don't see any. I think the practice is, you know, everybody practices a little bit different. You know, the way we practice is a little bit different, but it's not that different from everybody else's structure. I think the biggest thing is for us is it's a shorter practice and probably a little bit more intense than all of our guys are used to.
Having studied and thought about the scrimmage, what were some of your takeaways 2 days later after the scrimmage?
I think the effort part wasn't bad. I expected more times that we'd have to yell on guys to go full speed, and that the effort was pretty good. The physicality was okay, but not what it needed to be up front. You know, on the O-line, D-line, I didn't think we were as physical with that part of it. Tempo was okay. You know, we're still servicing each other. And there's probably the biggest takeaway out of that is that we still have a lot more decisions to be made on, like, who's going to be the first guys running out there on a lot of positions. So it didn't clarify it as much as maybe we would have thought.
Can you define physicality the way that you see you're using it? Is it like initial punch? Is it following through? Is it
all of the above? I think it's a physical game, and it's not football. It's not natural to do some of the things, and it's not something you're going to do the rest of your life. And it's like a boxing match. I mean, the lifespan of a football player is less than a boxer a lot of times. I mean, just from the physicality standpoint. So I think there's still are, you know, and it's hard to do it all the time. You don't want to beat the heck out of each other. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, we go like today, we go thud, and there's a little bit banging, but it's not the same as live. And so I think it's, I'm like, we're not trying to beat the crap out of each other, but at the same time, we're, you know, trying to make our guys understand how physical the games are going to be. At least we think so.
So far through camp, are you able to pinpoint whether you think, and maybe it's too early, maybe you can't even do this before the season, whether you think the team has maybe an it factor or a drive or the ability to really be a special group? You've had special groups. Is this too early to gauge that, or can you see a little bit of spark that it
It's
could
still
be?
a little early, but I see signs of it. I mean, I think we've progressed since the spring, and of course there's a lot of new guys, and I think we've progressed since the first practice, but it's still not to the point where, I never have to blow my whistle. You know what I mean? Kind of deal where I'm going to say whoa, not sick 'em. You know what I mean? And we're still saying sick 'em a little bit too much. Now I want to get to the point where we're like, whoa, we're good, So we're not there yet.
Are you excited about the newness? I mean, last year's tape of this team is worthless to the team preparing for you. And they can look at Jack State stuff, but you got all new guys. Have you thought about that, how you could present things a little bit differently?
Yeah, if you look at, look at our defense and study Zach, you look at our offense and study what we've done, you might get some tendencies here and there, but, like you said, it's a completely different team, new team, different strengths and weaknesses, and we're still, I'm not saying it just to be coy for our opponents, we're still figuring it out. Like, what are we going to be good at? What are our guys good at? Because as much as I'm like other stubborn coaches, like this is our system, this is what we run, you still have to gear it to what your guys do best. And not just the quarterback, but all your guys, like on offense. So we're still, we're expansive enough as an offense per se that we can do a lot of different things. But what we feature and what we kind of get really good at, we may not figure that out until the season gets started. It's the same way it happened to us at Jack State. We thought we were going to be a run-first team most of the time. Did we know we were going to be as dominant quarterback? Our quarterback and our running back were new guys. It wound up being like, same play 26 times kind of deal. So I don't, we're still figuring that out.
I mean, you study your immediate past, it's run the ball, but you have thrown it a lot too, depending upon what you have.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that, to your point, all of our quarterbacks can really throw the ball. I mean, I know we're repping 5 guys. All 5 can really throw it. I've never had that many that can throw it that well. I mean, as far as arm strength goes and all that. So there's not really a pass play. I guess you could say this. There's not really a pass play that's out there or a route package that is out there that we're like, well, we can't do that because we don't have the arm strength to make that throw. That's kind of a neat deal. Like, to have every quarterback for every route package can make every throw. So now we just got to see which ones we can be the most accurate with. So that's kind of a fun thing to have.
Obviously, fans here think of Pat White running your offense, but it's, there's been many quarterbacks since then have run it to success. But when they think of Pat White running it, they think of, obviously he's running it to perfection, but he also was the fastest guy on the field. So sometimes he would be able to just run by a defender. You mentioned the quarterbacks all being willing runners. Is it overblown or a need to be as fast as obviously Pat White's the peak, but do you need to be faster in order to run it really well and have a special year? Do you think maybe the speed is there for some of these guys?
Yeah,
is that a legit concern?
Yeah,
for some
that's
fans?
a fair point. I mean, the faster the guy is, the more dynamic you're going to get in the run game. Like a Pat White or Rasheed Marshall, Denard Robinson. Those guys are like fast. John Rice Plumlee, who I had at Ole Miss, and so we have some guys that are like really kind of next level fast, and the other ones all run pretty good, But Tyler Huff, who I had last year, I don't know, he got like maybe 1,000 yards or something. I think he got 1,000 yards rushing. He was more a competitive runner than he thought. He ran pretty well, but he made you tackle him. I mean, he was a big, strong, physical guy that had a little bit of short area quickness, and he got 1,000-some yards rushing. So you don't have to be Pat White fast to get 1,000 yards rushing, but you have to at least be a guy that sees the space, can get the space, and understands the running part of it. So, and I feel good about that. We don't have any slugs back there, So we're running them, and they were live. I told you they were live in the scrimmage. They'll be live again probably the next. All week maybe.
Because the speed's not necessarily an issue for you no matter who you play.
Oh no, faster's better. Yeah, hell yeah. But I mean,
it's not like any of them are too slow.
no, they all run well enough to run. If that makes sense.
Hey, Rich, going back to
Saturday scrimmage again, you had mentioned Saturday about the penalties, more than you'd like, procedures, holds, things like
Yeah.
that. When you reviewed that, what was your takeaway as to why?
Well, I think a combination is I'm telling the guy, when you get legal procedure up front, is it a discipline up front deal? Is the quarterbacks do they have a similar cadence? Because we're rotating quarterbacks so much. Do they all have the same cadence? Are they saying it loud and using great voice inflection that they can hear them? I think that's part of the thing we got to get fixed, because they got to be more in command with their voice inflection. And then I also think there's some thinking going on up front, and they're thinking about what to do, and we're snapping the ball quickly, and while they're thinking what to do, they're late getting off the ball or what have you. So I think there's a combination of all of it. But and then the holding penalties usually because they get lazy. They get lazier in their technique, and they just grab instead of moving their feet. And those are holding penalties like a turnover. I mean, it's hard to overcome that part. So we've got officials there every day. Had a full crew today. We'll have a full crew tomorrow. We can't have 10, 11 penalties we did on Saturday. That's ridiculous.
Rich, you said there's no route packages off the table, but you also have to eventually start paring down what you're going to do. So how do you decide what stays and what goes?
Whatever we can execute. If we can't execute, it comes to a point like, okay, I love this route package, and then, this might be a big play, but if you can't execute it, and not just from a quarterback standpoint, from a protection standpoint, run the routes the right way, at the right depth, the whole 9 yards, then at some point you got to get rid of it. Execution, I'd rather run 10 plays really, really well than run 40 plays about half-ass.
I mean, do you keep stats on plays through this camp, or is it like?
We chart it, but I don't really need to. I don't have a greatest memory, but I can remember that play ain't worth a flip. Every time we call that, somebody screws up. Okay, take that one out. Next. Well, that's what they say at the barbershop, right? Next.
I think there's a lot of question marks for a lot of the fans and the media about the offensive line. You mentioned that you didn't think the physicality was there up front on Saturday. What are some things you think the O-line could change or correct that they need to do before?
Is this because the fans and the media have questions about the O-line? Is that why I might have to answer that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the fans and the media question the O-line, that means I question the O-line? Is that what I'm saying? No.
Well, you
Or is it because the top 8 O-linemen are all gone? Maybe that's right. I mean, was it all? I mean, none of the starters are back, right? And then was any of our guys, number 2 back? Maybe Landon.
Probably would have been.
So we did have one. So to your point, I'm just picking on you. We ain't got very little experience and no experience here. So I was more concerned with that in the spring before we added a few pieces. And I think we have enough bodies, but it's almost as if they're all new anyway because of the new terminology and stuff like that. So I don't, there's question marks and all that, but not from like their ability to do it. I think we have the guys that have the ability to do it, but they've got to do it. And again, we got to get more physical up front. And I think the O-line as a group, and seems like it's always a very conscientious group. It's the most unselfish position in sports, period. Nobody knows you're there until they screw up and they call their number over the loudspeaker, so-and-so holding or legal procedure, whatever. So you got to be a special person to play O-line at any level. And I like the group that we have. They're just still getting together.
Rich, you talked about all the things the tight end has to do in the offense. How do you feel they're coming along with everything?
Tight end group is pretty athletic. We're not the biggest group of it, and we do ask them to do a lot. And a lot probably, it's kind of similar now in football at all levels, 11 personnel, your tight ends that are split in and put in the box, out of the box, and all that stuff is kind of commonplace. And we've got a pretty solid group there, I think.
Which influences your thoughts more? What your quarterbacks can do or what your offensive line can block?
All the above, yeah. I mean, there's some things like, gosh, I like to run this play, but I don't know if we can hold up that long. Same way protection-wise or what have you. A fast quarterback or an athletic guy can cover up a mistake and even his, whether it's an O-line mistake or his mistake, maybe he makes the wrong read, but he's fast enough to outrun the wrong read. You know what I mean? That's always going to be the case first, I think. The biggest thing with the O-line, and we all coaches have a tendency to do this offensively. They got to put this play in as an answer to this, and put this play as an answer to that. And if they're doing this, we got to do that, and it all makes sense. But if you can't execute it, and if you can't get good at something, you know, I mean, you're going to always struggle. So I've learned that over the years. Let's get really good at something, and then build off of that. But at least you always got a chance if you're really. People say, oh, they have a tendency to do this. Well, if you don't have any tendencies, you probably ain't any good at anything, right? So.
Rich, two things. First, you say your quarterbacks throw better as a group than maybe any you've had. You mentioned on Friday, I think it was, how good your slapbacks were and that your wide receivers are capable. Could this team wind up throwing the ball more maybe than you might think it would?
Probably, yeah. I think if we're looking at the strengths of what we have personnel wise, and not just because we're kind of younger or new up front, you know, we're putting a lot more pass plays in. I don't mind saying this. We're putting more pass plays in than run plays. If that makes sense. And because I think I'm still figuring out, okay, what's our strength here? You know, these guys throw this route really good, throw this route really good. And if that's certainly a thought for us going into the next 2 weeks, is that when we pare this thing down, I'm not worried about 50% run plays, 50% run plays. I'm worried about these are the plays that we can execute. And his way.
The other thing is, Owen Schmidt was a big part of your offense when you were here. Fullback's gone now, or?
I hope not, Bob. I think there's a place for him. We don't really have one on the roster. You know, we have a couple guys that are playing tight end or kind of fullbacks, but I think it's going to come back. But it's going to come back in a different way, like the tight ends are back. You know, where those tight ends now aren't just the guy that's next to the tackle wearing a tight end number. I think a fullback is going to be the next thing, where he's a big running back. He can be like a tight end, and even on occasion you split him out a little bit. And I think that's part of what we need in our program. And I'll take Owen Schmidt today, tomorrow, and every day after that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.